Hello and welcome to a English story. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, suspense builds slowly. Remember, the real twist will come at the end. Don't skip a word. They'll stay till the end, the biggest suspense is waiting there. Studio microphone story title: The Woman in 4/13", a true suspense story from America. Welcome to a English story, where every story is based on reality and wrapped in suspense. This one? It'll stick with you long after it's over. This is the story of a young real estate agent, Emily Ross, who moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and rented apartment 413 in a historic building. Everything seemed perfect at first. But trust me, the real suspense? It's coming at the end. So keep listening. Emily was bright, full of energy, and excited to start her new life. The apartment was vintage, old brick walls, creaky hardwood floors, and the charm of the 1930s. But on her first night, something felt off. Not scary, just strange. Her phone alarm rang at exactly 3:13 a.m., though she never set one. Coincidence? Maybe. But stay till the end, because what happens later changes everything. Every night after that, something odd happened. A low humming sound, like a woman whispering just outside her bedroom door. She recorded it one night. It sounded like someone saying, "Don't open the red box." She had no idea what it meant. But again, the real suspense? Still to come. It gets deeper. Keep listening. She mentioned it to her neighbor, an older man who lived across the hall. He turned pale when she said she was in 413. That room, he paused. Just, don't go into the crawlspace behind your closet. No matter what. Emily laughed it off. But now, the red box and the crawlspace, they were both in her mind. Are they connected? You're getting closer to the real twist. Hold tight. A few days later, her closet door opened by itself during the night. Emily was frozen. Behind her coats, she found a small wooden door. Curiosity overtook fear. She opened it slowly, revealing a dusty crawlspace, and in the corner, a red metal box with rusted hinges. Yes. The same one from the whisper. Don't skip. The suspense will blow your mind at the end. Emily called her best friend on video and showed her the box. Should I open it? She asked. I think you need to, her friend replied. Or you'll never sleep again. So she did. Inside were old photographs, a woman's wedding ring, and a cassette tape labeled, "Play Me When You're Alone." You think you know where this is going? Trust me, you don't. The real reveal is at the end. Emily didn't even own a cassette player. She had to borrow one from a thrift store the next day. That night, she pressed play. A soft, trembling voice filled the room. My name is Margaret Wells. If you're hearing this, I've been gone for decades. I lived here in 1972. My husband, he locked me inside this room and told everyone I ran away. I never left. But that's not the twist. Not even close. Hold on. Emily called the police. They didn't take her seriously until she found a loose floorboard under the crawlspace. Beneath it? Human remains, wrapped in a silk wedding gown. DNA tests later confirmed it. Margaret Wells had been reported missing in 1973. But wait, the story doesn't end there. In fact, the real suspense starts now. A week later, the landlord contacted Emily. He said he never rented apartment 413, it had been sealed for years due to an investigation. Emily froze. No, she replied, I moved in 2 weeks ago. I signed a lease. The landlord checked the files. Emily, there's no record of any lease. And, no one has the key to that room. It's been locked since 1997. Emily turned pale. She rushed to the apartment, only to find it bricked up, as if no one had lived there in years. So who let her in? Who left the key under the mat? And who whispered to her every night at 3:13 a.m.? They'll remember, the final suspense is still coming. It will shock you. Backhand index pointing right. Keep listening till the very end. The real twist hasn't even begun yet. Emily stood frozen in front of the bricked-up door of apartment 413. The place where she had just been living days ago was now sealed as if no one had entered in decades. Her heart pounded. Was she hallucinating? Dreaming? Or had someone, wanted her to find Margaret's remains? You're close to the full truth. Stay with it. The final suspense is worth it. She rushed to the police with everything, photos, the cassette, the ring, even the recording of the whispers. This time, the case was reopened. But investigators found a chilling detail. Margaret Wells had a daughter, born in that very apartment in 1972. The daughter was given away, but no one knew what happened to her after that. You think it ends here? No. The real suspense is coming right now. Emily couldn't sleep. She kept hearing the whispers, don't open the red box again, leave now, she's watching. She replayed the cassette once more. Something was different this time. At the end, Margaret whispered, If you found me, then you are my blood. My daughter. I made sure this apartment would find you. You came home. Yes. Emily was Margaret's daughter. But wait, that's still not the final suspense. Emily's entire identity was a lie. Her adoption records were falsified. Her birth certificate forged. A private investigator confirmed that she had been passed between families, eventually ending up in foster care in Ohio. And somehow, fate had led her back to Charleston. To apartment 413. But why now? Why her? The night after the truth came out, Emily returned to the building with a film crew for a documentary. As they entered, strange EMF readings spiked. Cameras glitched. One man passed out. In the crawlspace, a message had been scratched into the wall, freshly etched. Now set me free. That night, Emily lit a candle and sat in silence, whispering, "Mom, I'm here." Suddenly, the room turned cold. A soft glow filled the space. And for a brief moment, she saw her mother, Margaret, young, peaceful, smiling. But behind Margaret, stood a man with no eyes, holding a ring box. The whisper returned. "You freed me, but he's still trapped. And now, you live in his house." Emily couldn't sleep that night. After seeing her mother's spirit and the eyeless man behind her, something inside her had shifted. The apartment, her so-called home, no longer felt like hers. It felt like it belonged to them. But she couldn't leave. Not yet. Something told her, the story wasn't over. She contacted a local historian who had researched the building. He hesitated at first but then said, "Apartment 413? That place was never supposed to exist. The original blueprints of this building only had 4 floors. Yours is the 5th. Emily blinked. "No, that's impossible. I lived there." The man looked at her with chilling calmness. "No, ma'am. You didn't." Emily ran back to the building. This time, she brought officers. They reached where apartment 413 used to be, and all that remained was a flat brick wall. No door. No markings. No number. As they turned to leave, one officer looked at her strangely and asked, "Ma'am, what's that on your hand?" Emily looked down. She was wearing Margaret's wedding ring. The one she swore she had handed over to the police. Back home, she searched her phone gallery for the photos she'd taken. The red box. The crawlspace. The cassette. All of them were gone. In their place, a single photo. Emily standing alone, wearing a 1970s dress, in black and white. She had never taken that photo. But somehow, it was hers. That night, a knock came at her door. No one should have been there. She opened it. No one stood outside. Only a small envelope on the floor. Inside it, a single slip of paper, aged and yellowed, that read, "Margaret Ross, apartment 413, deceased, 1973. Emily Ross, apartment 413, arrival. 2023. Departure, never." Her hands trembled. The hallway behind her grew darker. And a whisper echoed from the empty air, familiar now, almost comforting. "You came home, and now you're part of us." The end. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to A English Story for more real American tales filled with suspense, mystery, and unforgettable twists.